So are you someone who picks their iron clubs cleanly off the ground and never takes a divot? Well, in today's video, we're going to show you exactly what you need to do in the downswing and the follow through to get those better iron shots and that divot after the golf ball. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden. We're on the par 3 15th and we're talking about how you can get the divot after the golf ball. So in this particular video, you're going to learn how to take a divot after the golf ball. You're going to learn a downswing move which is going to help you do that, and you're going to learn a follow through move which is also really important when we're looking to get that ball turf contact. Now, just before we get started and get into that video, if you're new here and you've not subscribed, I would love you to do that. There's a link down below in the description box, and there's one at the end of the video if you'd rather wait for that one. I'd also love to hear your comments on this video or any other videos that you'd love me to do. So pop down there, just give me a comment on future videos you'd like me to film, and hopefully we can get something out there to help you. So we're talking about taking a divot, or more importantly, hitting the ball and then the ground. If you hit the ball and then the ground, you're going to get that strike that we want. You won't always take a divot because it will depend on the golf club that you're using. It will depend a little bit on the conditions that you're playing in, all those kind of things, but we certainly want to be hitting the ball and then the ground. So there's really kind of a key concept we're going to go through, and then there's two moves that we need to implement into your game to help you do that. So before we go through exactly what the moves are, the concept. If I place the golf club in this position and I just let the club head go, it will move down to the ground. So this golf club is moving downwards towards the ground. I think we can all agree that's happening. Once it gets to its low point, it begins to work up again. So what would happen if, as I let go of this club, I move the grip end of the golf club upwards? Well, if we do that, as you can see, the grip end of the club is moving upwards. So the grip end of the club is moving away from the ground. But the club head is still moving downwards. I think we can all see that. So just because the grip of the club is moving up away from the ground, that doesn't mean the club head is moving up and away from the ground. And this is exactly what should happen in a good golf swing. In a good golf swing, as we make contact with the ball, the grip of the club, the hands, the lead shoulder, the hip, the lead knee are all moving up away from the ground, but the golf club is moving down into the ground. That's really important because lots of the golfers I see who are trying to hit divots after the golf ball are actually trying to kind of force everything downwards this way. So they're not rotating, they're not extending, they're not really using their body well enough, and they're not using the club as it's designed to be used. So what those golfers find is they potentially can hit the ground after the ball, but there's no speed, there's no control, and they often get that really kind of awkward looking follow through. That's the concept ticked off. So how are we actually going to get that? And we spoke about a downswing move and a follow through move. So if we assume that I'm at the top of my golf swing and I've got myself a 6-iron here, the first thing that I need to do is I need to move myself into a position where the hands get closer to the ground, or this is the point where they are the closest to the ground. You'll notice that a couple of things have happened. I've started to shift into my lead side. That's really important. But you'll also notice that I've actually lost a little bit of height. You can see I'm compressing my body into the ground, and that's allowing me to get my hands lower at this point in my golf swing. So already I'm in a position where I'm probably going to make some contact with the ground. What I need to do now is I need to move this grip and I need to move it through into my follow through position. So what I do now is I push off my lead side, I extend and I rotate. So I've rotated and I've extended. Those movements, that extension of my body, that rotation of my body, moved the grip of the golf club upwards. But the club head would still have been moving downwards. That is how we take a divot after the golf ball. So understanding that we should hit the ball and then the ground is really important. Understanding how the golf club should move is really important. Understanding how we can move our body to help that happen. What we don't want to do is we don't want to, from the top, get taller. I see this so commonly. Then to hit the ground, we'd have to stop the rotation and force everything downwards into the ground. That's just not the way to do it. We can probably get that ball turf contact, but we're never going to get the results we want. So if you're looking to hit the ball and then the ground, it's really important that we have this initial move where we feel that we shift pressure into the lead side, we feel that we can press into the ground and we get our hands lower over our trail thigh. From here, we really want to focus on rotating, extending, and then making contact with the ground after the ball. So once I've got those movements in my mind, I can actually go ahead and hit the golf ball. So divot was present, but it started after the golf ball. And as we show you that golf swing again in a slightly slower version, you can see that initial first move down. You can see the hands are getting lower of that trail line. You can see my body rotating and extending out of the way. So the message to a lot of the golfers I see about taking the kind of divot after the ball is, yes, we probably want to do that. We get lots of benefits when that happens. But the idea that we should hit the ground after the ball on its own isn't enough, because we can see, you know, lots of golfers doing that in lots of different ways. So the concept is really important, and how we practice is really important as well. So little rehearsals where you're working up to the top, you're starting your downswing, hands get nice and low, and then you're rotating and extending. And through impact, this is the really key thing, I'm moving away from the ground. I'm pushing away, I'm rotating away, the grip is moving up, but the club head is moving down. And that's really important, because that adds a lot of speed. It actually adds a fair bit of control. And if you can add speed, control, and the strike gets better, then obviously we are onto a winner. So hitting the ball, then the ground, is something that the best players in the world all do. If you're not doing that, moving towards that is certainly going to help your golf game. It's going to certainly help your enjoyment, because we get that all-important great feel off the golf club when we do it correctly. So use those ideas, use those tips, and I'm sure your ball striking is going to be much better than it was before, after a little bit of practice, of course. Thank you very much for watching. As we said right at the start, usual stuff is below, comments box, like button, and also that subscribe link down there and over in the corner. I really would like you to join me in my channel. We can help you play some better golf this year. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you back here again soon.